Zines have been part of our subcultures for as long as we can remember. For every fan group in the UK, from music to football, you can find a zine. What is it? Simply put, zines are an unofficial magazine of parts of culture that we love. They're independent, produced in small quantities compared to mainstream magazines, and they're typically hyper-focused. Oli Kent is the owner of SHOOT, a zine he's producing in his spare time from Leeds, focusing on creatives he finds inspiring in his area.
My name is Oli Kent, and I've created a brand that makes like a zine where I interview different creative people and sort of just speak to them and look at their work.
What sort of creators do you interview? Is there any particular field?
Not necessarily. Like, I've interviewed tattoo artists, graphic designers, photographers, videographers, illustrators.
What's the reason? What's the reason behind it? What's like the inspiration for your zine?
Well, just sort of, I find it, like I like to find out how other people work, because at college and uni I've always done graphic design, but it's interesting because I like learning, like I've always done like photography, videography, like I've done a bit of animation, a bit of illustration as well, so it's like interesting to find out how other people work and then use that in like your own practice.
So the zine is sort of looking at experts of exploits that you've had.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Creativity-wise.
Yeah, because then I think it helps as well, because you get to see other people's like how you work is different to other people. So say like you see their workflow and like the ways they do things that are more effective than the way you do things, and then it sort of, you can then use that and make your work better just by just like following simple steps that you don't realise. But it's not like copying them, but like in like methods that they're working.
The name is SHOOT, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the reason behind SHOOT? It sounds like a very creative thing.
Well, I think when I was coming up with it all, I didn't actually know what to call it, and then I thought of shoot because of cameras, like you shoot a photo, so that's where it sort of came from.
Is there a subculture that you want to tap into?
Like recently, because I've started like rebranding it and like restarting the whole sort of project thing, but I don't, like at first they're all like issue 1, issue 2, it's all just creative people that do loads of different stuff, like just random things, well not random but like all creative. But then as I've been sort of doing like research and looking in for like the rebranding and the new project of it all, like sort of revamping it all, I don't know what, like I want to stick with the creative side of things, but I don't just want like one specific thing, because I want it to sort of relate to people on like more than just one creative sort of field, because then other people, like tattoo artists might get the zine and then get inspired by illustrators.